Hi guys, this is Breaker and I am back with another replay that I took from, well, basically a friend emailing it to me, and spawning as our turn in the lower left hand corner. My friend who emailed it to me, Vast Gaming's MEMMO. And he's playing from Denmark. And his opponent in the upper right hand corner, spawning as our blue Terran. He's a member of the French professional team AAA against all... I forget what it stands for. His name is TVFO. So from now on, I'm just going to call him TV. And he says, Happy New Year. He says, you too, champ. And he says, what does AAA stand for? And I'm about to find out what I initially forgot this name stood for. Map we're on right now is Derelict Watcher TE. And in the context of Terran versus Terran, well, I actually very seldom cast mirror matchups of this form. All I can remember is that AAA stands for against all... there we go. Against all authority, a French team. There we go. So he's a little bit of a rebellious guy, isn't he? Anywho. He says, you're in that team? And that's actually a very valid question. I mean, just because he has the tag in his name, it doesn't necessarily mean that he is actually a member of the team. And already we can see that... oh, he's a caster. No wonder. TV. aAaTV. Alright. Sounds legit to me. I have Yo Flash Wolves in my name, but of course I don't have, I have Yoey Flash Wolves in my name, excuse me, and I don't have their tag on the Taiwan and Korea server because my initial account was kind of locking me out. He says, cool, what league are you? I think they're in placement matches still. I can't remember what they were at the loading screen. But I mean, casters, they don't necessarily... he says I stopped playing SC2. So I don't know, really? Okay. That sounds like me too. I mean, honestly, casters, we can't depend entirely on StarCraft for all of our income unless we're like Root Todd, or excuse me, XMG Todd. Or say perhaps someone on the IM team, or someone on the CJ Entis team. I mean, those guys are all, I want to say, handsomely salaried. But already we have MEMMO. He sent his SCV in to scout his opponent's main. He saw that it's going to be basically a Reaper opener, and he's got to be ready for it, honestly. He doesn't have his own Reaper to go just yet. So what he's going to try and do is use maybe 2 or so Marines, and he says he's in Gold League right now. Okay, well, I believe that. Beginning of a new season, I think. Actually, I can't remember when I got this replay. I think it was yesterday. But this was after the ladder lock, assuming they were both gold. Reactor already going down now by MEMMO. The Reaper is already on its way. The secret to dealing with a single Reaper is you have to have at least 2 Marines, because if you have 1 Marine facing 1 Reaper head on, they did of course get a health buff since Wings of Liberty if you guys just joined during Heart of the Swarm, or HOTS, if you will. So... I don't know, I think this is a little dangerous, the positioning of the Marines right now, considering they're not both together and they're not both right there at the ramp. And, oh no, it looks like there was a miss-click and a miss-shoot, yeah. And that Reaper is going to just run away to safety and then heal up and then go back there and take care of that 1 Marine. But 2 are in production right now. Factory is on the way from MEMMO. This was played, of course, on the European server, so of course Gold League there typically means about what would be equal to high to medium platinum on the North American server. And already we see aAaTV going ahead and making, oh, a reactor on that factory, or for the factory. 2 Marines pop out, and I think they might be able to handle both of those Reapers head on. Of course, they would have to focus down the red health Reaper first. Not too much damage done, but of course, ouch, 3 SCVs killed to this point. I take that back. That's kind of hefty damage, but I mean, to this point we actually have both of our Terrans going for their natural command centers, more or less. This is going to be an orbital command, of course I imagine this one would be too. The advantage to building it on the high ground versus a Terran opponent means that you can build an orbital command here, and then once it's done and ready to go, you actually have enough energy to throw it on a mule. Oh, so close to getting that 1 Reaper, but it doesn't quite pan out for MEMMO. Support. Support. Why did I say support? Wow. Starport on the way. The Reapers come out and they're going to be, or excuse me, the Hellions come out and they're going to be able to deal with the Reapers just fine. Needless micro back, but it's okay. And now the Hellions would be most useful for scouting at this stage in the game. For our Red Terran terrorist from Denmark. second gas now ready to go for MEMMO, and it looks like that was a bit of a miss rally. I don't see why you would send an SCV to that one. I mean, it's much further away, and that's a little bit more travel time, but not too much of a mistake thus far. And ATV, yeah, aAaTV is actually going to go for a Cloaked Banshee. And I'm a little bit curious, is he going to follow this up with doubles or just single? Well, and it seems like MEMMO is kind of blind countering his opponent. He knows he likes the harassed units, at least the Reapers anyway, and he's getting 2 Vikings out to deal with whatever Banshee may come his way. Gold League blind counters, I remember being there myself, building 3 Spore Crawlers around your main and natural hatcheries, even without spotting a single starport for Banshee harass. I mean, well, that was basically the standard back in the Wings of Liberty days, guys, once you stop and think about it for a minute. Already, the Viking moving out in both directions. You never know when you may need to Overlord hunt versus Terrans. Sarcasm, guys, sarcasm. Already, looks like we have a somewhat normal game panning out for us. Stim being researched by aAaTV, of course, in case you guys didn't know already, at this level of play. When you see more than 1 barracks, that typically means bio play, but I wouldn't be surprised to see anything these days, considering I think not. I want to modestly say this, I don't think either of these players are in Masters League, but of course, we could cloak that Banshee and then send him back into the main. It looks like MEMMO's reflexes are just a teeny bit behind on that note, but the Banshee looks like, oh, it might be able to get away, but poor control from aAaTV does not save it. Poor control. Poor control. It's alright. At this stage in the game, aAaTV is kind of... He's lost a little bit more than his opponent, but at the same time, I think those 3 SCV kills at the beginning of the game might have made up for his mistakes. Not to mention the fact that he got his natural orbital command down sooner than MEMMO. Hang on just a moment. I'm getting a message from a free agent on Skype. I actually... I'm working for CM Storm now, guys, so I'm doing my best to not let it conflict with my work for Flash Wolves. But definitely I'm going to continue this route. I hope. More and more Vikings on the way from MEMMO, not something I can quite read into all that easily, like what exactly he's trying to do at presently. Maybe, well, let's check out the main and see what he's got. Okay, he's got more than 1 factory, I'm sorry. He does have a single engineering bay in case he needs to defend against, say, drops or missile turret harass or something of that nature. He's supply blocked right now. Everyone makes mistakes, no big deal. But his opponent is ahead by him by 16 supply on him. Double Vikings coming out of that starport still. I'm thinking, like, this wouldn't necessarily be what you could call slanted mech. But it's definitely, I want to say, some kind of unorthodox TVT play. Definitely. Marine tank composition coming from aAaTV. Perfectly normal. Perfectly normal. A couple of Vikings will give him vision, but of course, the multiple Vikings from MEMMO are what's going to seriously clean up the sky for him and just keep all of his... Well, keep, for the most part, his bio units safe, but it looks like a bunch of Hellions here are now moving out, and they're going to see exactly what's coming his way. I would not engage this at all, given what we have from MEMMO, but he is doing a good job trying to buy for time. It's going to be mech versus bio in this matchup. As you can see, the Infernal Pre-Igniter is now researching, and oopsie daisy. Oh, he's trying to chase down those Marines and get some kills. He's actually doing a good job with that, but if those were Blue Flame Hellions, it would probably be more like 2 or 3 shots before each of those Marines dies. And he's getting good pickoffs here and there. The tanks. Wow. He's actually doing a good job of kiting their shots. I don't know if he realizes this or not. He got the Raven with 1 shot there on MEMMO. Good job. Excuse me, by MEMMO is what I wanted to say. And of course, now we have to see aAaTV extremely carefully stim. Another factory going down for our Blue Terran, and I'm thinking he's trying to increase the tank production, perhaps maybe get some Widow Mines into the mix, but it's, I mean, it's just a little difficult to place right now. considering this isn't the most orthodox of playstyles we're seeing from both sides of the map. I'm liking the Viking count already from MEMMO. He's keeping his opponent from getting vision on him with his own tanks. And aAaTV is just going to go back home, see if he can get a third started, and he did. He actually landed his before MEMMO. So the one thing that we see aAaTV getting the lead in out of this game is definitely economy for the most part. The 2 Hellions going to come in here and spot that orbital command, but of course the Marines are going to come in here and shut that down completely. And I really think this is some dangerous play from aAaTV, because only now do we see the first medevacs entering the battlefield, and they're going to have a hefty job trying to heal all those Marines. And look at them. How many that is. That's a lot of energy, guys. That's not cheap. Concaves would be best used defensively at this stage in the game as well. I mean, presently it seems as though both players are a little bit blind. I would try to set up a radar tower maybe right about here-ish. Or if I wanted to be super safe, maybe right about here as well. So, I mean, 2 of them would be okay. Obviously. And now we got a fully saturated third for both players, so the question is, where does each one go from here? It looks like MEMMO is building a radar tower right here. There we go. Sensor tower, excuse me. The reason why I called it radar tower just now is because in Chinese people say radar, and that means radar, essentially. And it makes perfect sense to me. I mean, like, once you think of it from a psycholinguistics perspective, I kind of translated it back into English. And there we are, 3 of them. Wow. Okay, well, no drops getting by our red Terran, but of course, I mean, I think at this point it would be okay. It would be safe to go ahead and pull these Vikings along for the ride. Not to too terribly harshly critique our red Terran player. He's kind of floating a little bit in the way of minerals, but the tank's kind of on the high ground. It would be safe for him to move the Vikings forward, get them some attack range, but at this stage, actually at this range, they're not going to be able to hit anything on that mineral line. So he's already unsieging some of the tanks, excuse me, and getting ready to move them forward. And right here, they should be able to hit a good deal of that mineral line. Look at this, just waiting for the shots to be fired. There we go. Bombs dropped, and now aAaTV is reacting appropriately. He doesn't quite have near the tank count, but he's got a lot of Marines here, and if he can take those Vikings out of this guy, it'd be well worth the sacrifice of some of those Marines. And there we go. Vision removed. So now MEMMO, if he's not careful, he could end up losing all of this, but wait a minute, there's a huge Blue Flame Hellion run by into the main of aAaTV. Oh man, and a good deal of these Marines just coming back over here to deal with the problem. And in the main already, Barbecue. I've never seen Barbecue SCVs before in my life, but wow, that is a lot. That is a huge chunk of Marines that is being dealt away with by those Hellions. Look at this. Oh my god. Alright, scan down on the... Whoa, oh my... Jeez, MEMMO is now ahead in this game, miles ahead, and there it is, the GG from aAaTV, but wait a minute, I don't know if that was worth his time to... Okay, well, if we just look at the army supply right now, I think that was a little bit of a preemptive GG, but if we look at the income right now, it tells a different story. Yeah, I think it would have been okay to go ahead and, well, maybe at least try to continue. I mean, if he had simply picked up everything he had, put it in medevacs, and then did a doom drop into his opponent's main, it would have yielded some results. But overall, I think this was some pretty standard play coming from aAaTV. And, I mean, this is... I don't mean to offend MEMMO when I say this, but this kind of play was a little bit gimmicky. Just a little bit. And, by gimmicky, I mean it's not entirely orthodox. He used, I mean, mech. There's nothing wrong with mech, but I mean he never really used the Morph Hellbat ability. He never really researched it, and I guess his opponent, for not expecting that, actually paid the price. So that's it for today, guys. If you liked what you saw, this is Breaker. I'll see you guys next time.